I don't normally pose a question when I record my videos, but this time it's different. In this video, I'm going to give you some facts, and I want you to tell me whether it sounds right to you. I'm going to give you percentage numbers on the black population in the United States from 1790 to 2020. Then I want you to tell me whether that sounds like it's normal. I'm taking my numbers from the United States Census, which first started recording population numbers back in 1790. Though the calculations will begin in 1790, the entire black population was not free at that point. In 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation freed a large number of black Americans in the Confederate States. It wasn't until 1865 that slaves were officially freed in the United States with ratification of the 13th Amendment. Okay, having said that, now let's look at the numbers. From 1790 to 1830, the black population hovered around 19%. Then a steady decline started in 1840. So in 1840, the percentage dropped from 18% to 16.8%. And the percentages just kept dropping from 14 to 12%, 13 and 11, with its lowest point reaching at 1930 at 9.7%. In 1940, it finally starts bouncing back after a 100-year decline. So it goes from 9.8% in 1940 to 12.4% in 2020, which was our last census. So that's where we sit currently, around 12.4% of the population in 2025. So does that sound normal to you? Does that sound about right to you? We start off at 19% in 1790, and by 1930, we were half that amount. And now in 2025, we're at 12.4%. Do any of you wonder whether our population numbers are being deliberately kept at a certain level? The United States has practiced eugenics, which is a racist form of population control. The methods of population control come in many forms. The healthcare system, the food industry, the drinking water system, and deliberate sabotage of our population.
When they know your zip code, they send the worst food in for us to consume. Talk to me. Yes, Flint, Michigan is not an accident. Yes, sir. They're killing us through the water.
The United Nations cited food security as being one of the reasons they recommend reparations for African Americans.
Even food security among African Americans and the rest of the U.S. population reflects the level of structural discrimination that create de facto barrier for people of African descent to fully exercise their human rights.
Have environmental hazards been deliberately placed in our communities?
1 in 3 American children will become diabetic in their lifetime, and if they're Hispanic females, the number is 1 in 2. Okay. So what does this have to do with wireless radiation? Wireless radiation and other electromagnetic fields, such as magnetic fields and dirty electricity, have been clearly associated with elevated blood sugar and diabetes. That is what the peer-reviewed literature says. It is not opinion. The closer you live to a cell tower, the higher your blood glucose. That is based on hemoglobin A1C measurements. So the idea with small cells of putting the cells closer to people's homes and bedrooms scientifically is very dangerous. And from an economic perspective, it's dangerous. And you may not know this. I was shocked to find this out. But the way you create a model of diabetes in rats in the lab is by exposing them to 2.4 gigahertz. And this is not for long-term exposure.
Are they deliberately padding the country's population numbers with immigrants to keep black population percentages artificially low?
If we cannot make significant progress on racial equity, this country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
So that's my question. Do our population numbers sound about right to you?